Here on Six Music, and time for today's Music News now with Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hi, and one big interview today with Dave Gahan. Clearly, as frontman with Depeche Mode, one of the biggest music stars in the world. You also may know his work with Soul Savers, which is the kind of duo he does with his longtime musical partner, Rich Mashin. They released a couple of records in 2012 and 2015. Now there's a new one coming out called Imposter on November the 12th. It's an album of covers, some really amazing covers. There's kind of iconic classics like Lilac Wine, The Dark End of the Street, and Always on My Mind, but also more kind of contemporary songs. He does a version of Man Needs a Maid by Neil Young and Not Dark Yet by Bob Dylan, and more left field stuff like PJ Harvey's The Desperate Kingdom of Love, and the first single is Metal Heart, which is a song by Cat Power. And they're brilliant. They're all recorded live with a full band at Rick Rubin's studio in Malibu called Shangri-La. Nice work if you can get it. And it's a collection of these properly beautiful, sort of heartfelt, authentic performances. It's quite a remarkable record. And just yesterday I spoke to Dave down the line from the US to find out more about the record, how you kind of make a famous song your own, and first of all, how his lockdown was.
I'm in New York. I'm very luckily and fortunate to be out at my house, our house in Montauk. I've spent a lot of time out here in the last 2 years. To be honest, more than I have in 20 years for any great length of time. And I kind of really like it. I like it when my family are here too, and friends come and stay as well. I've been staying, but we cook and stuff and just hang out. And I've played more guitar in the last couple of years. You know, I'm a closet guitar player, and I plug in my guitar to my little amp, not really knowing what I'm doing, but then find a tone, find a feel. And then at some point, usually someone who's here with me, usually my wife or one of my kids, I'll be sort of looking at them because I want their attention, because I feel like I'm actually in the band. So, you know, my wife a couple of times, she'll sort of look at me and be like, yes, you're in the Stones. You know, you just
for a moment.
Yeah, just for a moment there. And I love that feeling, which happens sometimes when you're performing as well on stage. You sort of look around, you might make a weird eye contact with various member of the band of the moment. And, you know, it's sort of a bit uncomfortable, but you have this moment where you realize this is good, isn't it? You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of what it's all about. And it's why I listen to music. It's why, you know, we go to watch bands, and we want that feeling of connection. You know, we want that. And that's been a little rare in the last couple of years. But yeah, you know, I think we hopefully, I mean, look, I've got this record out, which, you know, I'm very proud of. It feels great. There was at one point about a year ago where I thought, I don't think this record's coming out. You know, it's like, I don't think this is going to happen.
It's damned if you don't, and it's damned if you do. Be true, 'cause they lock you up in the side tattoo.
You know, and there was part of me that was sort of, for the first time, I kind of also was like, maybe this is it now. Like, you know, I don't get to do this again.
What, that actually crossed your mind? You were like, well, maybe
It did.
Wow.
It did. And you know, it was very sad, actually, because I suddenly had that feeling as well of like, what? But I'm not done yet, you know. And it's funny.
I've got more to give, guys.
Yeah, after every tour you do, especially with my band Depeche Mode, when it's like this huge, you know, military operation.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, you kind of come away from it like, oh, what am I doing now? Like, you don't have any purpose for a while. You come home and you try and be sort of, you know, dad and husband, and they're like looking at you like, who are you? You know, like, you can't act like that around me now. You're not that person, so just stop it, you know.
How selfish of you to believe in all the meaning of.
You know, making this record, we made this record just before all this happened, so we was lucky to do that. We did it as a band. We did it as a 10-piece band. We did it in a studio that we could perform live in, you know, together. Mm-hmm. And that was really something special. It was great.
It's really nice to be surprised by a record. That doesn't happen very often, because often people are like, oh, this band artists are doing the thing they do, and I love the thing they do, and I know it, and I don't know the songs, but I know the world that I'm going to enter in. And this kind of really sidestepped me, and I mean that like in a really good way, because it's not. These aren't songs I thought you would do this way, and they sound great. They're like there's a lot of heart, isn't there? And you can tell that you love those songs.
Thank you very much for saying that. I mean, truly, because that really was where we were coming from. Rich and I both feel that way, or certainly about these artists that we ended up choosing to, pay homage to, and also to do something with it where it felt like a continuous piece of work, not kind of like beat it into the ground. These are songs that I was very familiar with, but I had to find a place for me personally singing them. I had to sort of forget in the end about the originals and put them into the context of what is a Soul Savers record, and also come from a place where I was truly feeling the melody, my own phrasing, sometimes even changing a couple of words here and there to sort of, especially say the PJ Harvey song where, she's of course in the female perspective, and Cat Power too, coming from the real woman there, and I wanted to make that work alongside Mark Lanegan.
Just call it a day so many times. Didn't know what it felt like to be alive.
And and Mark was one of the first people actually when we did Strange Religion with friends, and I said, let's see what Mark thinks of what we've done. And he was really, he was definitely on board, and he said something interesting to me, which was he finally heard the song that he'd written.
That's nice. That's a nice thing to say.
I mean, I was like, it sort of blew me away, because it was a big compliment coming from him, and he's not a man of many words. And, that was nice. And then much later on as well, to get sort of little messages back from various camps after hearing what we were asking their permission to do, even from Neil Young and from the Dylan camp, it was like thumbs up,
Wow, that's cool.
It was, very, of course, made us feel good about it.
Your own personal Jesus.
Look, it's like when I heard, for me, a template for this as well was Johnny Cash's record that he did actually at Shangri-La with Rick Rubin.
Yeah, that's right, American Recordings.
Like his version of Hurt, and of Personal Jesus for that matter. And I don't think he knew who the artists were but he made those songs his own. They were just part of the fabric of that record. That's what you have to do I think if you're gonna make a record that is of other people's songs.
Unknown, and you're all alone, flesh and bone by the telephone.
What a guy, Dave
There
Garn.
you go. Thanks so much for speaking to us, Dave. Imposters coming out on November the 12th. It's a remarkable record, and I think, we'll have a little bit more of him talking about it close to the time. And the first single is a cover of Metal Heart by Cat Power, and it's brilliant. And here it is.
And by the way, Depeche Mode for Saturday night at Glastonbury, anyone?
I'm not saying anything.